Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to What Map, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, today we've got a map that is flying high on the workshop, and it's by a creator we have encountered just the once before, back in episode 647. I don't know if you remember Khovrino, but that is the same creator. Well, how did it do? Well, on that occasion they only got 9 stars, which is normally a pass mark, but the gameplay potential only scored 2. I'm going to promise you right now that today's map is going to blow that one out of the water. It's exceptional. It's actually really good. Based on a real life location with some creative twists as well, this is a standout map and I think you're going to enjoy it. This is going to be a standout show though. Are you going to enjoy this show though? Well, maybe you should speculate right now. That's right, speculating you're going to like the show really does support the channel, gets to be seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day, so thank you for your support. Today's map is Bay of Plenty by Teddy Radko. Now this is based on Auckland, using some of the hills from one of Al's maps, and so a little thank you to Al for producing such great hills previously. There's your start square, plenty of build plane in there, in fact about the perfect amount of build plane in there as well. The terrain heights, lots of buildable land as well, including a few hills here and there. The resources, there's resources all over, there's no doubt about that, so that is good. And let's head off over to the workshop. What do we need? Well, it's a 100% vanilla map, so therefore you don't actually need anything. A little bit of description to read there if you like, that sort of thing. We will be using the vanilla temperate theme and, you guessed it, the realistic 1.2 LUT. Okay, let's take a look at this map, shall we? Now the highways are of a very good, I'm not going to say exceptional, of a very good standard. I can't moan, there's nothing really to moan about. I've seen slightly more finessed highway layouts, but there's nothing to complain about. Just a little bit of terrain edging that could be smoothed out. You'll see what I mean as we get around this. Like, oh, here we go. We've got some zigzags on the edge here. It's the equivalent, the flat edge equivalent of shark's teeth. These ones, I guess. I'd like to see just a little bit of smoothing tool along there. That said, the tiered highways, I'm absolutely fine with these. They look lovely, actually, like this. And in fact, the entire map, even though it's 100% vanilla, doesn't have that ugly vibe to it. And that is that's a blessing. That's an incredible bit of work, really. Let's have a look at our first intersection, which, again, is absolutely fine. There's very little to moan about with this map at all, actually. Good use of the vanilla trees. We've not used any of the ugly vanilla trees on this map, so well done for that. The crossover is perfectly placed height as well. And then down here we have 2 lanes merging into a 1 lane. Let's look at those arrows there. I'd like to see them pointing straight on. That's not always possible. It does require a lot of tweaking and a lot of twisting to get it to work. And if that's my biggest complaint about the map, then we can let it go, yeah? A little road over rail there. Now you may notice that we're using 1 lane highways here in the absence of the national road. That's about the best as you get. And there's a little bit of drift between the 2 highways here. I feel that maybe they could have been pushed really close together and had that proper, one road highway feel to them, maybe. Then we got this bridge. I like the bridge, but I have a question mark over it. It's just a question mark. I'm not going to mark it down, well, a little bit, just a little bit. And that's this little bit here. I think this is done by design. I feel it's meant to have been sort of like lifted in, and that's to mark the end of the bridges. Because it's identical at this end. Got obviously one too many arrows down there, but we really can't have everything. But if you have a little look, we've got a little ridge on the end there. And so I feel it's been done deliberately for an aesthetic, but you end up with, if we come over just in time for the traffic kind of glitching through it. So yeah, I think it's really good, but I also don't like it as well. So you can't have both. You can't have it both ways, I'm sure. But yeah, that's my only real grumble with that bridge. Again, we've got some slight drifting between these two one-lane highways. Again, I feel they could have been pushed really closely together in the absence of the National Road, which is obviously a mass transit DLC item, or any of the network extensions to roads that we could have possibly used, because 100% vanilla, of course. Intersection, very slick, very slick, very tidy. Like all of this is excellent work once more. Now we have a highway over the rail. My main grumble, I guess, we've got some little zigzags here, is all of these cuttings, they all just feel a little bit too sharp. Nothing dreadfully wrong. I mean, you're not going to ever go to hell for this, are you? But, and I'm sure there's plenty of places in the world like it. I like to see it just a little bit less perfect. And that is literally a perfect cutting. Imperfections happen. Little bit of smoothing on the tops just to edge it out a little bit. I think would have added a little bit more, but still it is not bad work. It's just not the very top tier work that, you know, we're all longing for from every creator, and of course that's not possible. Okay, if we were to go this way, see a change of roads going on here. That's an interesting little design choice there, but we're not going that way. We're going to go this way towards another exceptional bridge. Exceptional vanilla bridge, no less. Okay, lane arrows on that merge I've skipped over. There's plenty of things I'm skipping over because there's actually a lot to look at on today's map. So we're going to skip over a few bits and pieces. Going to look at bits like this though. Loving this central bridge there. And again, that is different pillars. Again, maybe that is liftable. Maybe, possibly, I don't know. But anyway, there is shipping under that bridge, and it goes just through that central section. I think it's very nicely done too. Another intersection down into the start square area here, and everything ahead of you now is start square territory. We've got this number 4 intersection, and then we've got today's asset of the day. And it's another beauty. Okay, I'm going with Khovrino Hospital by AliTarGz. I love AliTarGz's work. I'm not entirely sure I've got Khovrino right, but I'm going with it, and you can pull me up to task in the comments. Factoids, because factoids, and there's another one I'm going to have trouble pronouncing. Little light on the subject so I can read. Fantastic. On this day in 1916, Isser Danielovich Dembski was born. That was his real name. His stage name became Kirk Douglas. I'm not sure why he changed his name. It's certainly a standout name, is Danielovich Dembski, don't you think? Anyways, there we go. The Khovrino Hospital. This is a hospital, 2 medical centres and a crematorium all crammed into one unit. It's big, it's beautiful, it's AliTarGz at their very best. Right, okay, back to these roads and stuff. Where were we? Let's nip up this way. Where's up this way? Over the rail there, nice little bridge there. This intersection looks slick, beautiful, slick, nice. Looks a bit like a swordfish. Over here, this is the other way into the start square, coming from the opposite direction. Nice intersection there, and that links into the middle of the start square too. And then we'll head on this way. Shall we go left? No, if we go right, we're going back where we came. Let's head left. And then off into, look at this area here. All this area here is just begging. I think industrial area up this way, don't you think? Right by the river, industrial by the river. Nice. It's a really fine map. When you compare this with Karlskrona, their last map, which was a solid map, I got 9 stars, and 9 stars is normally a pass mark. This is just on a different level. This is improvements on almost every point on the map. Okay, right, so going down the rail now. Cuttings, I'm not going to mention the cuttings really too much. We've seen that they're a little bit too perfect. I feel just a little bit of the smoothing tool here and there just to smooth out some of these edges, and they would be a little bit more believable. And then we have a little bridge here. Now the rail is generally very good, actually. Very good indeed. 1 or 2 bits are going to stand out though. Partly for the good, partly for the not so good. Perfect bridge there, no complaints with that. Around here, underneath this highway. And off towards, you can see the hospital in the distance. We're heading towards the start square. Can you see the hospital in there in the distance? I think you can. Good. If you oh no, you can. Lovely. Right. And then through under this bridge, and then it splits, and we have options. We're going to go right so that we can come back under the left one. And then when we get down to this one here, we have a pillar, a very naughty pillar in the rail line. And then that will go around to the docks and the bay, which is nice. We have a catenary portal there in the rail lines, which is a bit of a naughty. And then, I love this. My favourite part on the whole map. I've never seen this done. Episode 800 and what are we now? Look at this. This is clearly intended to be a lifting bridge. That really works so well. So well. Okay, I'm in awe. That is a masterpiece. Okay, it is just aesthetic. It's not functional. You haven't got these ships going through it, which is important. But that is just a masterclass in using vanilla props to do something. 800 and odd episodes, and nobody has done that. Well, nobody that I remember. I think I'd remember. I'm sure. I've seen the lifting bridge used, and that kind of inspired me to use it in St. Catherine's Point. But not just a few vanilla props to make it look like a lifting bridge, and it does look like a lifting bridge. Unbelievable. Incredible work. Lovely. I'm blown away. I'm going to keep talking about that lifting bridge. A little bit of elevated section there. And while we go through the forests, through the cutting in the hills against perfect cutting. We're in a tunnel, out the tunnel on the opposite side. Yeah, again, just could be smoothed out a little bit, tiny little bit. And then off to the fog at the edge of the map, which means next up will be the shipping.
Are you bored with the standard vanilla bridges? Have you seen those lovely custom bridges but don't know how to use them? Ooh, very nice. Then you need the Beginner's Guide to Custom Bridges by BonBonB. Click the information button below.
And so back to Bay of Plenty by Teddy Radko and those shipping routes. Well, we have 4 separate routes, none of them going right the way through the map, so ships will only appear when you put down your docks. This one goes right through the middle of that bridge, as I promised you. And then we got dead ends over there, and dead ends over there and there. It looks like a tree. Everything is perfect. Then you've got a separate shipping route that's dead ends here and over by the docks there. And then that goes off to the edge of the map over there. All happy with that one. This one's a nice short one, just comes up here and dead ends around there. Again, covers all of the bases. The final one, little bit of a grumble. Little bit. If you come around here, this one goes parallel with the other one, and it's a little bit too close, I'm afraid. So when you see ships coming up and down here, if you've got one going up on the right, the other one coming down on the left, they will be glitching through each other, ghosting through each other a little bit. Again, only an aesthetic thing, not a gameplay issue. It's down to whether you're bothered by that or not. Water flow, we have rivers running into the bay, which is bringing water into the bay area, which is nice. And then what have we got in the bay area water flow wise? Water flow is flowing into the bay from the edge of map. So the bay area is going to accrue a little bit of the stinky stuff, but it looks big enough to be able to handle it. Just about. Okay, what do you think? Look at this map. All the hills, the non-buildable areas, although you can build into the hills, have got tree coverage. All the flat areas are clear. We've got these beaches. Okay, the vanilla theme is not the prettiest for beaches, but yeah, you can switch up themes, costs you nothing, and you'll have a much nicer looking beachfront. In fact, the whole map will just pop to a different level. Got a defensive area here with something a little bit weird. I don't mind a little bit weird every now and again. This doesn't really work for me. It's the glory hole, the Park Life glory hole, with the trench running through it. It could be some sort of bunker, command bunker maybe. That's what I'm thinking. For me, it doesn't work. I would have gone without the glory hole, but bless you for trying. And we've got the Essential Lighthouse. The Essential Lighthouse. Ooh. And yeah, I think that's a good location for the lighthouse. It's not the most exciting one I've ever seen, but it doesn't need to be. It does not need to be. Okay, then we've got loads of buildable plain in the start square. Let me show you how flat it is, though. There are hills. For the realist players, the ones that want a slightly undulating build plane, you're going to be happy with this. We've got a realistic road layout, a realistic rail layout. We haven't got realistic water flow though. That might be a bit of an issue for you. But everything else, it's a realists map, a vanilla realists map based on a real life location, loosely. What's there to grumble about, really? I'll tell you what they're to grumble about, and that would be a little bit of a water gloop. That one, it shallows out slightly there. Now, is this start of map water flow? Well, let's go upstream, see if we can find any more. Got a little bit of a shallow patch going on just there. A little bit further upstream, and looking around here for, it's a little bit shallow coming around that second area, a little bit shallow there. So yes, I'm looking at the water merging from, oh, it's a little bit shallow upstream there. You can see the where the sand is. So yes, it looks like it sort of like thins out about here, then it gets pinched up, and then it widens, and then it gets pinched up again, and you've got a little bit of problem with water flow going. I think that's an ongoing thing with this map. I haven't let it run and run and run, but it has run for long enough to have sorted itself out. And like here, this river's got similar issues as well. So I imagine that the rivers just could do with a little bit of work. They're not central to the map though, rivers, so you probably, especially if you're playing, there you go, a bit more there. If you're playing 25 tile rules, you may not even notice this. So that's just to consider. Okay, so what do you think of this map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. What do I think? I will be disappointed if this isn't in the top 10. I'll be actually a little bit disappointed if it's not in the top 5, I think. This is a nice one. So anyway, aesthetically, it's not quite 5 stars. There's certain areas that could do with a bit of polish, even ignoring a vanilla theme that we're running on. I think this could have been a 5-star map with just a little bit more polish on some of those like zigzags and stuff. I'm going to give it a good solid 4 stars. Well done. Detailing, yeah, question mark on that bridge. Could it have been done slightly differently? Yeah, possibly. And again, the cuttings, but still 4-star map through and through. Gameplay potential. I was going to go for the 5th star here. I was. Only thing holding me back is it looks like a map for the realist. It really does. It's hugely playable, but that water flow running the way that it does, I'm gonna give it 4 stars, which is still a high score. Can't quite give it the 5th, but I can give it, here it comes, the BonBonB seal of approval without a doubt. This is good work. This is excellent work. Teddy Radko, you may take a bow. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, for commenting, for liking and for subscribing, and to all of my Patreons, Patreon supporters over on patreon.com/BonBonB. Got your name in the credits again, and quite rightly so. Thank you so much. There's an old map on the screen now if you want to have a little vote on that one, and we'll be doing something over on BonBonB too, a little bit of East Shade later on tonight, so link is in the description. Do check that one out, and I'll be back tomorrow with another map in the What Map series.